you can't not be positive about how insane William Dills Smith is right now at the dish. Give us some numbers, Mr. Kevin.
I actually, funny enough, I had his reference page pulled, then I pulled up James Outman's. But he's leading the majors in batting average, which is crazy for a catcher,
That's
all
good.
things considered. This was the number that popped out to me when I was looking at it. He's only struck out 8 times in 55 plate appearances. That's insane. He's of catchers, he's well at the bottom for catchers in strikeout rate, and the people who are above him and even below him have less like at bats or plate appearances. Some people are like 12 or 13, but they're at like 48 plate appearances. So he's not striking out. He's putting the ball in play. He's using right field more, which is really good for him and for his swing in particular, because while he likes kind of hitting the high and in fastball, sometimes he gets jammed and pops it up. Yep. Now he's kind of able to swing through it and battle it the other way, especially on breaking balls in on him. So that's been really good to see. You saw it a lot in Minnesota, and everything just looks really effortless at the plate for him. It was the 9th inning of the 3rd game. They pinch hit him in, and he just came in, and it was just like you knew he was going to get a hit, and he just like swats one to right field.
Yeah,
and he gives the Dodgers a chance. It's so good to see him producing like that, and I don't know if he knows it or thinks about it, but I think maybe he's feeling refreshed. He doesn't have to hit a bunch of home runs because there's other people to do that. So he can just focus on just needs good contact. Like the power will be there eventually because he is such a strong swinger, but he doesn't have to get 20 homers. He can get 15. He'll be totally fine.
There's a number of things definitely working in Will Smith's favor. He does have some real firepower in front of him in the lineup, which at some point in time, a pitcher's going to kind of try to take a break, but there is no break. There is no breath in this lineup. So not to say that he's capitalizing on a pitcher trying to get a pitch off or whatever, or take a batter off, because they're clearly not going to do that to the cleanup hitter for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yeah. But I think he's definitely seeing some better pitches and knowing that now we're talking about the length of the lineup and how much more it helps having somebody like James Outman hitting well. You also still have Max Muncy, who, he's figuring it out a little bit. He opened pretty hot and is kind of up and down right now. Teoscar Hernandez has been very, very good for what we expected of him. I expected the world, and I think he's delivering on what he expected. But I like what Diane said in the chat. Another thing that's huge is he's that much further away or removed from the concussions, from the injuries. Let's admit, it was a pretty injury-plagued season for Will Smith last year with the concussion, with the rib issue, and even though he was hitting at one point with they say it was a fractured rib, he was hitting very well for a good stretch until it kind of developed some bad swing. Well. He got into bad habits with the swings, and then that's where you stop seeing that right field approach. But we know when Will Smith is right, like you're saying, he has the oppo approach. He's almost like a Freddie Freeman, but with a more powerful swing. And that homer that made it to the second deck in right field, at target field, that was the one that said, okay, William is here. He's all in.
Yeah.
And also, to add one last thing, not having to worry about a contract. That's got to mean something too.
Yes, it has to be. He doesn't have to. He's not. People talk about, okay, you're playing for your contract year. This is your contract year. That puts pressure on a player. Like, they want to do well, but that's pressure on a player to then have to go and do well. He doesn't have to do that. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers said, hey, we think you're really good. This contract reflects that. We would love for you to stay here for your career. And he said, yes. That's a lot of pressure off him. There's a lot. He doesn't have to carry as much of the load as he used to have, or he used to, especially like last year, where there weren't a lot of power bats outside of, there were a lot of power bats because there's a lot of home run hitting, but, JD Martinez struck out a lot.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts was the top of the lineup. Freddie doesn't hit a ton of home runs. Max strikes out a lot. Like, he doesn't have to be all or nothing at the plate. He can just kind of settle for, I'll hit a single here. Chances are somebody's on base. I'll get a bunch of RBI. Maybe Max will hit a home run. And not to tangent too far off this, I had to just pull up Max Muncy's BREF page because I was like, I'm pretty sure he's hitting okay. And he is. He's got a 250 batting average, but he also leads baseball in strikeouts, which is so sad.
Hey, to add a little positivity there, I know how much Maxie is focusing, and we're good. We're buddies like that. Call him Maxie. I know how much he's really been grinding on his defense. So maybe he's not working as much on the offense while he's trying to get the glove going. But the glove has looked, outside of Chicago, one game in Chicago where everything was a little awry and very moist. He's looked very, very serviceable to better than serviceable. He's looked like, dare I say, not a problem.
No, exactly. And it's funny because every game, the Friday and Sunday games, you just throw them out the window. The weather was terrible. There were just bad situations, 3-hour rain delays. It was just ridiculous. It was a total ump job on Sunday, especially. Just flush it. We move on. That's all I got to think about for Chicago.